good with it in the hood with it? Welcome back to the collective clips where you already know we get it in. But before we get it in, let's hit that like and subscribe button. Ding! Put your notification bell on all so that way you're directed in the direction of the dope content I'm kicking. And I highly appreciate all the support, man. We're going up on this channel and it's all because of you. And for that, I can say I'm very humbled and I'm really appreciative, man. So thank you so much. I couldn't do it without you. So Gface, Gface, right? Let's talk about it. Now, this is an individual who got exposed, or lightweight got exposed allegedly for doing some crazy shit, right? Things that maybe a lot of people seen, maybe a lot of people heard behind the scenes. There was whispers, but no one really knew. Okay, until 1090 Jake decided to put his hand in the cookie jar and pull him out of Oreo, right? And he definitely pulled him out of big old Gface, because out of that fucking bottle came not only him, but paperwork, being a federal informant, a DEA informant for over 19 years, right? Alleged. Now, of course, you know, there's a lot of people defending this guy. And, you know, I understand. I understand his situation. You know, when you're exposed to that level and to that degree, when everyone has your name in their mouth and everyone's doing content on you, you feel you have to speak on your behalf. You feel like you have to save some G-face, right? You have to save face and basically put out your truths. But what I've also noticed, what's been happening a lot lately, and not just lately, but it's happened over course in due time, is people have a spiritual awakening. You know, they come to an understanding with their higher power all of a sudden. There's those of us that are true believers, that are firm believers, whether we hit rock bottom or not. It just is what it is. You know, we never fake the funk or deny the fact that God walks with us in our lives, or whoever your higher power is, right? I don't want to put you in a box. Now, I myself have always said on my side, you know, I'm blessed. I'm blessed without money, without fine women, without all that. I'm blessed in my soul, with my family, and with peace of mind and a righteous conscience. Right now, I'm blessed. I can just do my thing, man. Do I have to look over my shoulders at times and keep my shit on swivel and be aware? Well, that's part of being a man. I think we all should have to do that. But do I sleep good at night? I do, unless I'm getting a mean-ass mamon, and then I don't, you know? I don't sleep at all. But that's just the way it is. Now, with Gface, it seems like he's doing what a lot of others are doing, like Mr. Criminal and several others lately, which is as soon as some dirt comes out on their name, or they feel exposed, or they feel like they're put in a situation, they have a spiritual awakening. You know, and that happens when you hit rock bottom. When you hit rock bottom, man, and everyone turns on you and you have nothing, then there's only one person or one being that you could turn to and beg for forgiveness. And you got to have faith that he's listening. You got to have faith that he'll protect you in your time of need. But at the same time, where was the faith in yourself when you were doing all that dumping money out, showing off, threatening people, clowning people, calling people fuckboys, disproving people, exposing people yourself, knocking on their front doors, going on podcasts, clowning them, bringing, you know, several items of paperwork to disprove and discount others? Well, you put that energy out into that world, and guess what? That energy is like a pit bull. It comes back and it bites your nalga off. Just ask Wes Watson. This is all true shit that happens. Okay, this is real. It's called karma. And karma came back and it bit his ear off. Okay, now he's walking around this motherfucker looking like Evander Holyfield after a Tyson fight. Pre-ear, you know, or post-ear, excuse me. But let it be heard and let it be known that just because someone gets exposed doesn't mean it's actually truth. Doesn't mean that it's facts. Paperwork or no paperwork, sometimes shit ain't everything it seems. You have to give someone the benefit of the doubt and understand that regardless if you like them, regardless if they have piece of shit tendencies, regardless if, you know, they're constantly the one exposing people, you still, as a righteous person, got to give everyone the benefit of the doubt, because no one can judge you, okay? Well, anyways, here sits Gface in the Federal Holding Center, and someone got at me, they were like, hey, he's already in prison. Well, it doesn't work that way. They sent him to a federal detention holding center, which is like a county jail or a lightweight prison. And it's where people are being charged with federal cases. And what he's doing is he's sitting down and he's having time to reflect. Now, his co-defendant, of course, is his wife. And he's caught up on wire fraud and all kinds of different schemes and scams that he was pulling. And of course, man, showing off all this money, I'm sure the IRS and all of these different agencies are involved. And that's probably how the attention was alerted to him. The fact that not only he was allegedly doing these scams, we'll see if he gets convicted, but also the fact that he was being flamboyant about it, showing everybody what he had. Part of the scam alleged was that he was telling everyone, he was basically alleged to be doing a pyramid scheme, telling everyone that he could help them to help themselves, but at the same time, they weren't getting helped, only he was. And instead of putting this money in the cuts and playing it smooth, this guy was posting videos, picking up 20,000, 30,000, 40,000 from the bank, showing stacks of money, counting money. And I guess that's what the new era does. That's what this alleged new generation does, is show you what they have rather than just have it and do their thing. That's understandable. There are people, you get a little bit of money, it's natural instinct. You want to be proud of yourself and show people. It's part of the game, right? But when you're constantly doing it, when you're going on interviews with no jumper and all these different podcasts, and you're dumping out money and you're showing them, look, I'm really getting it. It's like you're trying to prove to yourself that you got it. Real men that got money, they don't dress that way. They don't look the part. They don't act the part. And a lot of these guys that got so much money you can't count, they don't even wear jewelry. They keep their shit in the cuts for a nice occasion, and they continue to be themselves and get to this place that they want to get. And they keep that same recipe because that's how they got there. Truth, right? Anyways, Gface wasn't none of that. He was boisterous, flamboyant, and liked to show off. So now he's in the federal holding center fighting these wire fraud charges. And of course, we had a discussion on live yesterday. People asked a lot of questions about him. That's why I'm doing this video. They wanted to know, what's the mandatory minimum? How much time is he looking at? Well, we had someone look it up, or someone took it upon themselves to look it up. And for a wire fraud case, right, there's a maximum of 20 years. Now, will he get these 20 years? I don't know. People are like, hey, will he snitch on his co-defendant since that's what he is, since that's what he's labeled as? Well, his co-defendant's his wife. I think if he does that, that'd be pretty tricky. Okay? Now, they can't force him into snitching on his wife because there's a thing known as a spousal clause, meaning you don't have to snitch on your significant other. Is he willing to throw this woman under the bus? I don't know. Is she willing to throw him under the bus? Is the real question. Maybe so. Or is he ready to ride it out to the honeycomb hideout and go sit down? Now, of course, I'm going to play some audio in a minute where he says he'll sit it out. He'll sit down. He'll do his time. Now, is he willing to do that, or is he just telling lies again, telling stories? He's beefed with so many people. He's done so many people dirty that it seems only right that he goes and sits down. But at the end, I don't wish death or prison sentences upon no one, man. It's just part of the game. When you're living that lifestyle and you're involved at a certain level, it's all good when you're riding Lambos, and it's all good when you're fucking exposing people and shouting people out and doing all that. But there's always something at the end of the rainbow, homie, and it's not always a pot of gold. Sometimes it's a pot of chueco, and there you go. Now you're all chuecked out. So he hits rock bottom, and in Mr. Criminal fashion, he has decided to find his inner peace, have a spiritual awakening. Is that a bad thing? Absolutely not. That's a good thing, but it's not a great thing when you're playing with God. When you're playing with, you're gonna have to. When you're playing with your higher power, you're gonna have to keep playing that to the fullest. There is no playing there. He's gonna have to meet his maker and explain why all of a sudden now, he's having a spiritual journey, and all of a sudden he has a higher power, and now he's praying and Christian. And I notice a lot of people use that as a crutch. It happens in prison all the time. Those are called Bible thumpers. People that get scared to do all the time or no longer want to function. So what they do is they decide to become Christian. Now, not all people do that. Some people become Christian righteously because they're believers and they believe that they need to change their ways, man. And that's what's going to help them. Ultimately, that's truth. That's righteousness. That's real. The only two things that could help, well, actually three things that can help you in life. It's just deciding that you have a problem and getting your shit together and working hard to change, admitting change. Another thing to get your shit together is family, man. Family, a strong support system. Family that are pushing you in that direction, that have always been pushing you, but you never listen. It's time to clean the fucking earwax out of your ears and listen. That helps a lot of people. And first and foremost, number one, man, is your higher power. You couldn't do it without it. So it does take these people sometimes to hit rock bottom to see the error of their ways. But I don't believe not everybody is pura, 10-5 a key. I don't believe everybody does it for the right reasons. I believe some guys do it because everyone's turned their back on them now. Nobody wants to fuck with them. They're now that lone man hiding under that rock, and they need somebody to talk to, and they figure the Lord's the only one that always listens. And that's truth. That is the only one that always listens, right? But you're not always being heard. You know, you got to go on faith and hope so. So anyways, how long is Gface going to do? You know, well, that depends on his record. One thing I know about the federal government and the feds, now I've never did a Fed case. I've never been in the feds. I've only been in state prison several times. But one thing I could tell you about having family that have done time in the feds, having friends that have done time in the feds, and just stories that I've heard, the feds don't play. When they came knocking at Gface's door like a motherfucking Guns N' Roses song, here's one thing that's for sure. You're going to get cuffs slapped on you and you're gone, right? When they got you, they get you. When they get you, they got you. And anyone's, can they get at you? They got at him, right? Now he's sitting down with all these charges. And of course, he's hired a great lawyer. And, you know, his lawyer decided that if for no other reason, what people are saying now, what his lawyer has double backed. And now his lawyer is saying that he's the one that leaked basically the paperwork out there. He's the one that was doing this to basically get his client out of federal custody, saying that if he utilized the Mexican Mafia name, the prison organization name, that instills fear into people, that would give his client a better chance of being let out of the system because he felt he was in more danger inside the system than he was on the streets. But quietly as it's kept, when you're dealing with any type of organization, you're not safe anywhere you go, man. If you disrespect them, or if you've testified against them, or if you've done anything to harm them in any type of way, they can reach out and touch you at any given time whenever they feel like, at their choosing and at their discretion. It's just the way it is. It might not come today or tomorrow, but it will come. You know, if you do a prison organization or any type of gang bad, you always have to be aware and understand that, man, you've ticked off the wrong people. You fucked with the wrong people's program, and now your program's going to be fucked with heavily. That's just the way it goes, right? I'm sure Gface is aware of that. His lawyer has now double backed and says that it was all propaganda and just a ploy to help his client out. Now, I've never seen lawyers really do that. Double back on their defense. Maybe he figures, hey, it's not working and has put his client in more danger. Or maybe Gface gave him the riot act and yelled at him and say, hey, you made me look bad. Now, people that are more worried about how they look rather than what's really going on, they got something wrong in their head. That's a fact. You know, people always concerned with how they look, Holmes. You know, I've seen dudes buy $50, $60, $70,000 cars looking smooth, but they're living in a fucked up, sideways leaning fucking house with holes through the wall and it smells like shit. I've seen it. I've seen a lot of different things. I've seen people, you know, buy all the jewelry that they could find, right? And then when the wind blows, it goes that way because it's hollow. You know, that's superficial people that are playing that role and faking the funk rather than fucking really using their money, man, to put a foundation down. You ever notice that? People that buy these $100,000 cars, but they live in a fucked up pad. They live in a 1-bedroom studio, you know, and they're cooking on a hot plate. I've seen it before, you know. They can't invite a chick home. They always got to rent the telly. The chick's like, damn, you're balling out. Take me to your pad. Oh, no, can't do that because when you open it, there's going to be roaches looking like popcorn walking around. They're gangbanging on you. Serious business, right? Chick's going to come out. She's not only going to come out with all kinds of hickeys and a fucking and bow-legged, but she's going to come out with all kinds of bed bites on her ankles. That's how serious it gets. Gface struck me as one of those type of people, a superficial person. And it seems like he's still doing that even from the federal holding where he got at his lawyer and was like, hey, you need to clean my name up and clear that up and say that was all made up because you're putting me in danger, or rather more so than putting me in danger, you're tarnishing my reputation, which, hey, I'm sorry to tell you, Gface, wasn't as great as it was. You know, is he going to get 20 years? I don't know. That depends on his record, what happens in the case, who tells on who. Like I said, he's alleged to have this jacket of telling and testifying against a lot of people. So for him to go against his wife, I don't know, man. I wouldn't want to speak on that, speak ill of his wife. I don't know her like that, but I can tell you this first and foremost, man. It wouldn't be the first time he testified, nor probably the last. But this is the truth right here of the matter. Someone was like, he's probably going to get 52 months, 36 months or whatever. They do it in months. That's how they give you the increments of time. And speaking of increments, we're going to go to C-Mac here for a minute. Now, C-Mac was caught with a fucking pistol that didn't even work. He was caught with the hollow point, high point, right? The high point that the trigger was all fucking chueco, didn't work, no bullets, all kinds of different things we heard. And he's facing 15. He's facing the career criminal, all kinds of different things. I'm not sure they're giving him the career criminal, but I do know that in the feds, they like to throw around that career criminal like it's butter, right? Butter that toast. So, you know, because of Gface's record, now, he's already been exposed to have lied about his controlling cases in the state. saying that it was attempted murders and all this. When it come to find out, 1090 Jake exposed him that it was just a robbery with a butter knife, right? So I don't know, man, exactly how deep and thick his record is. I do know that he did do some prison time, what yards he was on, exactly how he functioned. I can't call it like an alcoholic, but one thing I could say, here's some knowledge you can't get in college. They will utilize every single smidgen of things he's done and people around him have done to slander him in court and to basically, make his charges look worse, make him look like he's the worst person walking the earth. So only time will tell to as much time as he's getting. But anyways, he spoke, from the feds. And it's weird how this tape, I just wanted to kind of react to it with you because I'm going to play the audio right now. He starts off kind of forgiving people and being an understanding person and knowing why they're doing it. People are going to speak on his name for views, for clout, for whatever it may be. It's hot news, trending news. And then he flips a switch, man, and becomes angry and upset. I think the more it settles in and he thinks about it, he starts making idle threats, lightweight, allegedly, like he's going to come out and do something. And quietly as it's kept, man, you're going to sit down for a minute. And I think, if you're really truly finding your spiritual self, and I said the same thing about Mr. Krim, right? Where I asked him, hey, if you're really into the Lord like that, if you really you're a changed man, then come sit down, do an interview, man. There's certain things you could do. A true Christian, a true brother in Christ, man, or someone who has changed their views and their ways, man, leaves all the old idealisms to the past. And they're forever forward with their new advancement. Advancement demands change, and the only way to change, truly, none of that matters. None of the dropout, none of the snitch, the active, the non-active, none of that matters anymore. The only thing that matters is the Lord, and all people are created equal. But obviously, man, there's a lot of people that half-step. Is Gface going to be a half-stepper? Well, I don't know. According to this audio, he kind of was a half-stepper. So I'm going to shut my boca, man, and we're going to listen. Here we go.
Day one, shout out No Jumper, 1090 Jake, Whack 100, and all these social media posts. I got to post whatever they got to post about me. I understand I'm a hot topic. I'm viral. People just speaking on my name. But I'm going to say this. I'm over here in prison in federal jail on a spiritual journey in my own mind. I'm not going to speak bad about nobody, but I just wanted to share something with y'all. It's very, very difficult when the whole world speaks on you on some bullshit that got nothing to do with you. When you in here by yourself, taking your deal by yourself, but instead of going off on people and having hatred in my heart, I've been praying to God and asking for understanding. So I've been reading a book by this lady called Joyce Mayer. Remember, I'm on the lockdown, so I got nothing else to do but count bricks and read books. So I want to share something with y'all. One of the quickest ways to complicate your life is to be easily offended and hold grudges. God tells us in His Word to be quick to forgive for a reason. He wants us to enjoy peace, and that is impossible if you are bitter, resentful, and angry. Refusing to forgive is like an acid that destroys the container it is in. God is our vindicator, and He promises to deal with our enemies if we trust Him to do so. He says we should pray for those who hurt us instead of being angry at them. And when we do, it releases God to deal with the person who has wronged us. We actually do ourselves a favor when we forgive because it releases us from a prison of inner turmoil and greatly simplifies our life. If we are confused and upset inside, it affects our daily life in a negative way. So I just want y'all to understand, I don't hold no grudges for nobody. I'm here. I forgive everyone who wronged me. I don't care about what anybody that doesn't know me on this planet says about me. Those are words. Those are opinions that people could have about me. I'm on my way to federal prison for a few years. I'm going to take a deal for some bullshit-ass SBA loan. Once the case is over, once I took the deal, I'm pretty sure the whole world will see that I have went to prison every time by myself only. Never had a crimey, never had anyone. And for everyone from No Jumper to Whack 100 to 1090 Jake, this is the time right now to scour the internet, get your DMs, check your DMs, and make sure somebody sends y'all a police report, any type of paper, confidential informant, anything speaking on me. I'm pretty sure I got a bunch of haters that's waiting to burn me on the cross. So here it is. Come one, come all, everyone. Post your paperwork if y'all got something on me. Post a police report. I don't give a fuck if the name is covered. Do something. I dare y'all. Because ain't nothing on my name, ain't no smut on my name, ain't not one motherfucker ever got a fucking citation because of me. But like I said, I forgive for those who do not know me. But for the people that been in my corner, understand that I've been sitting back quietly, watching, no statements, no nothing. Taking screenshots of everybody that was out there with me, that fucked with me on a personal level, that came to my house, that ate food on my table. I'm getting records of everything. And when I'm out, like Pac said, expect me like you expect Jesus to come back, nigga. I'm coming. Peace.
So obviously he's upset with 1090J and several other podcasters and content creators, man. I mean, those aren't his own words. Again, he starts out real subtle and feels like he needs a friend, you know, for good times and bad times. I'll be on your side forever. That's what friends are for. But it's hard to have friends when you testify against them or basically prosecute them yourselves. You know, is it true what 1090J exposed? Was the lawyer just utilizing that as a defense and putting out? I've never in my life, now maybe it does happen, you know, you'd have to talk to a lawyer, but I've never seen a lawyer, and I know lawyers are slick and they do some things, man, that are in their client's best interest and some that aren't, you know, but I've never actually seen a lawyer use that as a defense and mention a prison organization that's, you know, considered deadly or dangerous to help their client. Now, was it his idea? Was it the lawyer just doing it on his own? Basically, what the lawyer's saying, double backing now, is that no, it wasn't true, and that him telling is not true. So basically, he trumped up this paperwork, man. I doubt it. I think the paperwork's real. I think, you know, he got busted. Like I said, 1090J was able to go to the local courthouse and figure him out. You know, and he brought that attention on himself. Let's just be cut and dry here. You know, there's a lot of people like, why would 1090J do that? Why not? It's what he does. That's his lane. That's his avenue. He's constantly, you know, exposing rappers and people who garner his attention. And Gface got his attention. See, all this social media stuff and all this clout chasing and all this attention, well, you got it. You got it, buddy. You know, you can't be a federal informant or a CI or doing any of that, man, and be on YouTube and not be discovered. Everybody will discover everybody's shit. It's what it is. There's a lot of fact checkers and people that fucking don't believe everything they hear. So they have to hear it for themselves. And they'll go down other avenues and talk to other people to figure out your history, man. Your history will be exposed just what it is. That happens to myself and to everyone else, man. They're going to nitpick every single thing you've done. Now, is there a lot of AIing and fake paperwork and people spreading propaganda? Absolutely. There always is going to be. But at the end of the day, man, when you're throwing rocks from a glass house, your shit will shatter. And Gface's has shattered. So anyways, that's the update, man, from his federal holding cell. He made a phone call, and he's kind of explaining himself in typical Gface fashion, you know. But there's a lot of other questions people want to ask, like why he allegedly went to Milk's house, or said that he went to Milk's house and ran up on Milk, and Milk made Milk delete videos, and then Milk came out calling him Gilligan face and all kinds of things. You know, there's plenty of questions why, after arguments and talking bad about Adam, you know, 22 or 15 or whatever you want to call him, he goes on No Jumper continuously and makes a fool of himself. Questions like why Whack 100 put him on the spot and he didn't take flight, didn't handle his business. He just fucking stumbled and fumbled and stuttered and sweated and shook and smoked cigarettes and tried to disprove what Whack 100 had in his hand. So many different questions on why Gface was the way he was. But I think the answer is simple. Without him even having to say it, it's because he had a lot to hide, man. And the doors were starting to close in on him. And he couldn't handle the pressure. So now he's found a higher power, a spiritual awakening. And according to him, man, everything's going to be all right. He's going to sit down and take it like a champ. But if that was the case, you initially could have sat down and took it like a champ from the first place, man. And then your name would be Pura and you'd be out here fucking doing songs with Lefty Gunplay instead of Swifty Blue, right? With that being said, I hope that you move smooth with a purpose. Get everything that you want coming. And remember, at the end of the day, it's all about the struggle to strive, the strive to struggle. Again, I'm not trying to shit on this man's character or expose him. That's already been done. I hope if he truly is with the spiritual awakening and the higher power, that he sticks to that, man. I don't wish bad upon him. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to sit here and say it's not good what he did, if he did that. But, you know, there's nothing anyone can do now but just keep on pushing. Like a motherfucking Soul to Soul song. Keep on moving, man. And that's just what it is. Thumbs up or thumbs down. Heavy's going to be the head that wears the crown. I'm going to continue to strive, struggle, and strive for what I truly believe in. And that's the betterment of all people. Is Gface going to catch 20 years in prison? Probably not. But at the end of the day, he's done made a lot of enemies. Bad ones. The gun.